Good morning, family. Day 2 of New Year. Take 2. Hi, family. It's day 2 of New Year's Eve appetizers with Grandma Nene. I'm so glad that you guys have decided to join me. And I love each and every one of you. I always like to tell you that I love you because I do. I'm just doing something really quick this morning. We're going to get something going because it has about 3 or 4 hours that it has to cook. And I'm going to take this regular can of sweetened condensed milk and I am going to do magic with it and turn it into caramel or caramel, wherever you're from. But we're doing caramel. We're going to put some caramel there. You take the paper off. Just kind of let you show you the getup I got going on here. I got a crock pot. I've got it on high. I'm going to put this in here, and you have to have enough water to cover the lid. So I need to add a little bit more water in there. So let me go over here. And I started it out with warm water. Warm water so that it wouldn't take so long to come up to temperature. But you want it to completely cover it. Now, I know Christmas is gone, but this would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. You could take this condensed milk out and you can put it into canning jars. You put them in here. It takes 3 to 4 hours for it to turn into caramel. And then you let it come up, like I said, 3 to 4 hours. Then you just turn it off. Let it set here and go to room temperature, and they will seal. And you're able to give people caramel for Christmas. So I wish I had thought about showing you guys this because I've done it before myself and I've forgotten about it. But we're going to make some kind of appetizing dessert that is going to need some caramel dip with it. So I will be back. I'm back in the kitchen. We're back in the kitchen. All right. So what we're going to start with is our first appetizer. I have the can of condensed milk that we put in earlier setting to the side, coming to room temperature. So while we're waiting for that to happen, let's get busy on this delicious black bean dip. And I got some delicious black bean chips to go with it. If it ain't enough to have the beans in there, let's get them in the chips too, you know? All right. So let me get you guys turned down here, where you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add, and this is my only little food processor. Here, it's actually an immersion blender, and I already lost a bean. Ain't that crazy? I've already lost the beans. So losing my marbles, I'm losing my beans. So I'm just going to kind of set that in there. And another thing I want to add in here, because there's no sense in chopping onions, so that was 1 can of black beans, just a regular can of black beans. And we're going to kind of just put these in here and let them get blended up in there with them. And you don't want to put a whole lot of onions, maybe a couple slices. You know, if you have a sliced onion, I'd say maybe about 1/4 of a cup, 1/3 of a cup. Nothing humongous. We're just getting a little flavor in there. So, alrighty. So to this, I'm going to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of taco seasoning to it. And then I got a teaspoon of seasoning salt and a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. We're going to put the lid on. Let's see if we can make this delicious. I've only used this little food processor just a handful of times. And it goes to my immersion blender. And I just thought this was the coolest thing. I got some gadgets that I didn't have. I've had it, I've probably had this a year, I'd say. So. Okay, I think we got it done. So hook it from that. Okay, that's what you're looking for, a consistency about like that. Okay, now, ooh, that smells delicious. Okay, now I'm going to bring a big mixing bowl over. I didn't think I need a mixing bowl this big. This might be a little overkill, but, you know, I wanted to make sure that I'm not sloshing out the sides. You people know how I like to mix. I'm a strong mixer, so this way, clean that off the best you can. And I need I thought I had it over here. I need my little rubber spatula to get it all out of there. So we're going to put it in there like that. And this is going to be, I'm telling you, this is going to bake in the oven. So far, we've got less than $1 in it. Everything goes in this is pretty cheap too, because I got the black beans, a can of them, at Aldi's for 50 cents. Of course, the seasoning salt wasn't much. And the onion was some onion that I had sliced up in the refrigerator. So to this, I'm going to add a can of green chilies. You could put jalapenos in this, but we're going to do green chilies. And then we're going to do a half a cup of salsa. And we're going to get it all in there. Okay. And we're going to do a whole block of cream cheese. Now, it ain't for Weight Watchers. Let me tell you. It's going to be some good stuff. We're going to open it up and we're going to put it in there. And it's a room temperature cream cheese. And you don't have to get this fully incorporated because it's going to be in the oven and you're going to stir it some. Well, it's really stuck this time. There we go. Girl, I don't like to waste nothing. Or boy. I always say girl. So now I'm just mixing it. I'm going to move this stuff and move you guys just a little closer so you can see what's going on. I kind of have y'all sitting over there way in the other room. Let's clean this up. And that can of mixed chilies that I mixed in there was a 4-ounce can of green chilies, fire roasted and peeled. So, and they sell the jalapenos the same size. You could replace that out with jalapeno. And it would make it good. I would eat it. And so we're just going to kind of blend this in the best that we can. It don't matter if you have chunks in there from the cream cheese because we're going to put it in this beautiful little glass dish and we're going to bake it off. So, and it's going to be so good. And this is a dip that can be made ahead. You can make it ahead and then you could put it back in the oven because we're going to cheese it on top once it gets completely cooked in the oven. It's going to be so good. Okay. I think that's going to be, I think I got my cream cheese incorporated enough in there. Because I like when you get that little bite of cream cheese. Little bite, next bite has just more bean in it. I like it. It doesn't have to be a consistency when you're doing a dip. To me, it doesn't. It doesn't have to. So let's get every drop of that out. And I didn't put salt and pepper because I got seasoned salt in there and I got those chilies. And I got garlic, and I got the taco seasoning, so you don't need a whole lot. If you don't have taco seasoning, you can put chili powder in there. And I'm going to kind of spread this out. I could have used the smaller dish that I have. And we're going to put that in a preheated oven at 350. And I'm not for sure how long we're going to go. I'll have to give you that time later. So we're going to put that in there. Let that cook. And when that's cooking, I'm going to put you guys on a hold for a minute. I'm going to clean up this mess and we're going to come back and we're going to do round 2 of appetizers. And then probably in the process, we're going to pull that out and put some cheese on it. Look at that stuff. Boy, it'll be going to be good. So I'll be back. I'm going to go do some cleaning. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. We're going with the appetizer number 2. Number 1's in the oven. And I was going to tell you, you can add some chorizo to that. You can add some sausage. You can add bacon. You could add some Mexican chicken to that, shredded chicken, grilled chicken. You can put meat in that. It's just that the next meal we're having is going to be a meat-based meal. So this would be something that you could serve along. The bean dip is something you can serve alongside, and it would be good for somebody who's on a non-meat diet. I don't know who he is because I like me some meat, but if you don't, I understand. I'm just playing. So let me close that cabinet. What in the world's going on? So I've got 2 stations set up over here. One, I am browning some ground turkey right now. I'm browning ground turkey, so let's turn you down and you can see what I'm doing. I got ground turkey going over here, and it's a 1 pound of ground turkey. Again, this next dish we're making, you can use any kind of meat you want in it. You can use shredded chicken, shredded beef, shredded pork, chorizo, bacon, multi-meats, whatever you want. And it's 1 pound of ground turkey. We're going to be using 1 can of the jumbo flaky biscuits. I've got a little bit of flour for rolling out the biscuit. I've got almost a half a cup of salsa. I thought a half a cup all the way would be a little bit, maybe too much. Probably about a 1/4 of a cup or a 1/3 of a cup of taco seasoning and some onion. I'm going to go ahead and add that onion in there so it has time to cook, but I just kind of wanted you guys to see me add that. That way Miss Julie don't say later, I didn't see you add that onion. I added the onion. So on camera, because sometimes I forget. I'll forget what I've done. And so there's onion in there. 1 pound of turkey and a little bit of onion. And if you don't like the onion, remember, use the boss. You choose what you want in your end product. You like something else, you do something else. Now, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I'm going to put a lid. We're going to get that going. And we'll add this other stuff as that meat browns off. So I don't want to add that too soon. I'm just going to check our bean mixture in the oven. Oh my goodness. It's looking good. It's looking delicious. But it needs a little bit more time. It's been in there maybe about 10 minutes right now. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. I think a good 20 minutes. Then we're going to top it with some cheese. And we're going to throw that back up in the oven. And that's going to be done. That one will be done. And we're going to serve it up later with some chips. All right. As soon as this meat's through browning and we're ready to add this stuff, I'll be back. We're going to show you this. Okay. I'm back. I got this ground turkey browned off. And so what we're fixing to do now, let me move y'all just a little bit closer so you can see. We're going to add almost half a cup of salsa. You can do a whole half a cup. I just didn't want it to be overkill. You want it to be juicy and kind of delicious, but you also don't want it to be so wet that it runs out of your biscuit. Okay? Then I'd say that's about 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning in there. Get that all incorporated. You may have to add a little bit of water. My turkey, because I covered it over and steamed it, it kind of made a little bit of moisture in there, so I'm good. So, I'm going to get that all done. Okay, now, set these over here. We're going to cut this down on low, and we're just going to kind of let that kind of incorporate together. And I may add just a tiny bit of water to that because having that lid off of there made that kind of dry out. So just a little bit of water, just to kind of keep it going. And it's on low. It was on medium. Okay. I'm going to pull this out and we're going to look at it. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at it delicious because I know this is delicious. So let me put a towel on this. And let's try to get this out of the oven without harming ourselves. I'm telling you, it smells so good. Can you guys see that? It's got those little pieces of cream cheese. Now I'm going to take this knife that I just cut the onion up. and just kind of re-swirl that around and really get that in there. That way that cream cheese had time to melt, and we'll get it good and blend it now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, does it smell good. I'm a bean dip person anyway. I'll take bean dip any day over cheese dip. Okay, I'm going to say we're going to put a whole cup of shredded Kobe on the top of this. Okay, now we're going to go back in the oven on broil because that cheese dip is good. But we're just going to brown off that top of that cheese a little bit, okay? All right, let's take that off. Alrighty, so I'm going to stir this one more time. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness, that looks so good. If you don't like taco seasoning, you could trade it out, and you could do sloppy Joe seasoning in that. You could do a pizza, pepperoni. These little biscuit things can be made into almost any kind of flavor that you would want them to be made, and that's just the truth. So simple, easy, inexpensive. I think this was a $1.99. The ground turkey, I bought it in the tube for $1.89. The salsa we used in several different things, and I still have lots of it left in the refrigerator. I think it was $1.60. Woohoo! Some people were scared of that. So I'm gonna open these up, and I'm gonna set them over here in front of my work table, and I'm just gonna take just a little bit of flour. You don't want a lot of flour. You just want to put enough flour on there to keep it from sticking. And I'm going to grab one biscuit out. And I'll put just a little flour on my rolling pin. And we're just going to start rolling that out. Ooh-wee. And our next recipe is going to be basically the same thing. But we're going to be filling this with some apple pie filling that I'm going to make homemade on the stove. So, let's turn this off. We're going to need to let this come down a little bit, because right now, with it being hot, it'll just run out of this biscuit. So, I'm going to put it back over here. And if you'll give me just a second, we'll get the apple pie filling and we'll get it on. And that way, we're just going to be multitasking today in the kitchen. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, what we got going on now is over here in this pan that you see right here, I have a cup and a half of frozen apples that I had in there. But you can just go ahead and use pie fill if you want to, because it will be simple. You'll open it up and you're just going to fill these with pie filling. When we get to that part. We're not to that part yet. But in here, I have got half a cup of apples, a cup and a half of frozen apples. I got about a third of a cup of chopped pecans. I've got probably about a third of a cup of packed light brown sugar. And I put about a teaspoon of lemon juice in there. And we're going to let this cook, and it's just going to be good. And it is going to have to render down, so it's going to take a while. So, like I said, today's going to be a lot of things in it because we're doing some processes. This is our cheese dip. It's done. We're going to look at it at the end. That's going to be good. We're ready to stuff our meat. I'm going to need a tablespoon. I'm going to put you down here. We're going to make them. I already have a pan over here that has been oiled. It's been oiled so that we can put them on there as we get them done. So I'm going to scooch down just a little bit so you can see. I've got some shredded cheese, and you can use, I got Kobe Jack. I blended Kobe Jack, Monterey Jack, and I'm going to put just a little cheese in there. And I'm going to put the cheese first. We're going to pull this back. And then we're going to take this spoon and we're going to add maybe about a tablespoon and a half of meat. Because you want enough meat in there that you're not just got some dough. And then we're going to pull it over. And we're going to pinch down those sides. And then for good measure, we're going to take a fork, dip it in your flour. Start sticking, grab it, put it in the flour again. So I always keep some flour when I'm making these. The only thing that's really time consuming is that there's just so many parts to these. So we're going to pull that off the board. So we'll put that over there, and hopefully the ingredients stay in them. So just a little bit more flour, another tortilla shell. I'm making something totally different in my mind. That's a biscuit, girl. That is a biscuit. Tortilla shell. I get in my own world sometimes, even when I'm talking to you guys and doing this. I'll be thinking about what I'm doing, you know, a couple days ahead. I think that'll be good. Then we'll reach down here and get our cheese. And I didn't do a measurement of cheese because you can add more cheese to this if you like. You can add less. Here's my spoon. We're going to do... Oh, hello. He's trying to escape. Maybe just a half a spoon more. You may have ingredients left. Eat it on a sandwich, you know. Buy some more canned biscuits. Make extra. Put it in the cheese dip over there. Put a little flour there so I can do that. And then we're going to go around. And we're going to make one that is absolutely beautiful and sealed. That's how. Took me three to get where I needed. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing these. Get them on there as soon as I get them all on there. Because it's going to be a long video because we're doing so much at one time. So I have to cut somewhere. So we'll be right back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to melt up just a tiny bit of butter and garlic. And I'm going to brush the top. Then we're going to go in the oven with these at 350. And I'm going to show you what they look like when they're done. Tip is this could do 2 of the biscuits, the canned biscuits. And I thought that it did. But I wanted to make sure before I said something. I thought usually I make 2 batches with 1 pound. Alrighty. Okay, let's try I can't want to say hors d'oeuvre. Because I'm trying to say hors d'oeuvres, I'll tell you a story. One time, whenever me and my husband had been married 5 years, we had went to up in Hardy, Arkansas, where it's just absolutely beautiful. We done everything that we wanted to do there, and the day was still early, and he wanted to take me to do something special. I think we'd been married 3 years. Let me change that. So he read about someone that was putting on a show that was kind of like Legends, you know, where they dress up like famous people and do the whole act. And he said, honey, you want to go and see this? It's not going to be much money. And he was talking. He said, but the one thing I'm confused about is what's a hors d'oeuvre? I said, honey, that's an hors d'oeuvre. Oh, it's so funny. Anyway, honest mistake. It does not sound anything like it's spelled. So, but we're doing appetizers, but it could be hors d'oeuvres. It's however fancy you want to be. Anyway, let's try this nice and good. And I think what I'm going to do to this bean dip is I'm going to have a little bit of this taco meat. I'm going to add it to it. But I want you guys to see it in its original. Whoops. I'm serving it with these. Talk with my mouth full. I'm so sorry. I'm serving it with these black beans chips that I got at Aldi's. I'll show you the bag. I want to make sure this stuff isn't hot like a firecracker. Oh my God. I ain't sharing this. I am not sharing this. I don't know if I'm going to put that meat in it or not. I'm a bean dip person and this is so good. You guys got to make this. It's delicious. And don't forget to put the chilies in it. Or jalapenos. Okay. These are the chips I got. They're Simply Nature. They were a black bean corn tortilla chip. These would be delicious with any kind of chip that you want to serve. And it has a pretty presentation. So it's just gorgeous. And see, it's all set up now. I can turn it on. I can almost do it like a Blizzard, like a Dairy Queen. Be my luck, I'd flip it out. I'll be right back. The things in the oven are almost done, and then we're going to start on the little apple pie dumplings. Well, not dumplings, little apple pies. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, we are ready to make the dessert of this. So, we've got one more to go. And this is basically going to turn out just like, it's going to be just exactly like, I got to go get my roller can. The stuffed, the little stuffed taco pies that we just got through doing. And that's what that's called, stuffed taco pie. Then we have our dip over there. I showed you that. So, I'll put a little flour. I had to re-clean the surface because, of course, it got a little bit of taco seasoning. We're going to flour that. And these are going to be delicious, delicious. And they're going to be served with our caramel dip. It's going to be so good, so good. Let me show you the mixture. It's the pecans in there, them apples, that brown sugar, a little bit of lemon juice just to add some. Put the cinnamon sugar on the top. I'm going to keep working, get these done. Put them in a preheated oven for about 350 minutes. They need to go 15 to 20 minutes depending on how hot your oven is. And we'll be back because this is going to be a long video. I wanted to show you guys something. When you go to put the cinnamon sugar, see I have it in a bowl like this. Hold the pie over the top of that bowl. And really get the cinnamon sugar on it. I just wanted to show you that technique. Alrighty, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back for just a minute because we're waiting for our pies. They're still in our little apple baked pies. But you remember the can of condensed milk that I put in the crock pot early this morning before I went to the dentist? Well, it's done. And this is what you're left with. And it's still a little warm. It's still a little warm. And you can make it dark as light as you want to. You can go a little bit longer. But it has turned into caramel. Look at that. Let me turn you guys down. Look at that. It is caramel, caramel, caramel. I got to do a little stirring. But it is definitely the caramel. And if you want it a little darker, leave it a little darker. 3 hours and another hour to cool down is perfect for me. So, I'm going to get every drop of that out of there. And that's going to be served in the middle of those apple pies. So, as soon as the apple pies are done, we'll be back and we're going to reveal all this stuff and it's going to be delicious. We'll be right back. Okay, family, are you guys ready for the reveal of our 3 delicious appetizers? I'm ready. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm ready. Let me tell you, it's looking good over there. So let's go over there and let me show you everything that we've done. Okay? So, our first thing that we made, let me bring it out, is our cheese dip. Our bean cheese dip. And I'm serving it with black bean chips. And it's going to be delicious. And I've already tasted that for you guys. Okay, these are our taco baked pies. Let's open one up. And I've got I'm serving them with a little ranch dip in the middle. And if you lay them like that, they kind of look like a little flower. They're just awful cute because of the way I folded them out long ways. Oh my goodness, will you guys look at that? I've let them cool down a little bit because I've been working on the pies. You can dip it in that ranch. Oh my gosh. You could have a habanero ranch in the middle. Talk about get some spice in there. That is so good. I'm going to set these over here. We're actually going to have this for supper, so I'm not eating a whole lot of it. This is what I'm most excited to show you guys. It's the apple baked pies with the cinnamon sugar top and the homemade caramel sauce made with condensed milk that I put in the crock pot this morning. So let me grab one. And they are just delicious. I'll show you the bottom. The bottom is you're going to take a little bit of that caramel. We're just going to put it on the end. Look at that. Ooh, my goodness, my goodness. Check that out. Okay. Oh my God. I don't dance much, but that's a dance. Oh yeah. Woo, you girls, y'all have got to try this. Everything that I planned came out to plan. It didn't cause me any trouble. Sometimes things blow up, fire alarms go off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you very much, and sorry that this video was extra long, but it had to be to do 3 appetizers. But I love you guys, and you have a wonderful, blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.